Just believe yourself. Don't give up. 제가 얼마 전에 여러분 그 NFT 사용 설명서, 영어로는 The NFT Handbook 이거 소개해 드렸잖아요. 공저가 있습니다. 이분이 이제 책이 두 분 있었는데 Matt Fortnow, Q Harrison Terry 둘이 썼는데 둘 다 재밌는 사람이에요. Matt Fortnow는 스타트업 창업도 했지만 변호사입니다. 그러니까 좀 더 신중하게 NFT를 얘기해 줄 수 있는 사람이고요. Q Harrison Terry는 마케터이에요. 그러면서 블록체인 기반 디지털 아트 마켓플레이스 공동 창업자이기도 합니다. 그러니까 여러분 아시겠지만 이 NFT 이 개념 자체가 미국에서 시작이 됐잖아요. 이걸 가장 먼저 시작했고 먼저 쓰고 있는 데가 NFT고, NFT가 사실은 작년에는 미국에 거의 어느 신문을 보니까 뭐라고 되어 있냐면 2021년은 그냥 NFT의 해였다, 이렇게 기사를 뽑았더라고요. 그럴 정도로 NFT에 대해서 관심이 매우 높습니다. 그래서 제가 사실 NFT에 관련된 국내 전문가들도 좀 많이 만나서 미팅도 하고 했었는데요. 그러면서 이 생각이 들더라고요. 원래 수년간 NFT에 대해서 고민하고 알고 있고 막 NFT 거래 플랫폼도 만들고 했던 이 책의 저자를 직접 만나서 얘기해 보는 게 제일 좋겠다 라는 생각이 들어서 제가 몇 가지 질문을 가지고 이 책을 쓴 두 저자와 인터뷰를 했습니다. 그래서 여러분 인사이트 있는 이야기가, 핵심적인 얘기가 쏙쏙 짧은 시간 동안 쭉 이어질 테니 여러분이 이 인터뷰를 보시고 혹시 이 책을 아직 안 보셨다면 이 책이 굉장히 쉽게 쓰여졌어요. 아주 그러니까 초보자들을 위해서 쉽게 쓰여진 책이라서 NFT를 이해하고 블록체인 생태계를 이해하는 데 도움이 많이 될 거라고 생각이 듭니다. 자, 여러분 인터뷰 보시겠습니다. Okay, today I have not one but two guests. They are the authors of the NFT Handbook, How to Create, Sell, and Buy Non-Fungible Tokens. Matt Fortnow is a tech entrepreneur with a background in entertainment law and has spent many years in blockchain technology, cryptocurrencies, and non-fungible tokens. Q Harrison Terry is a growth marketer and entrepreneur and a four-time recipient of LinkedIn's Top Voices in Technology Award. The book they co-wrote is a step-by-step guide to NFTs. It's timely and offers practical information on NFTs for the beginner, starting off with what NFTs are, all the way down to how to mint your own NFTs. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I introduced this book, in Korean version, on my YouTube channel and received great feedback. So we'll cover some of the subscribers' questions as well today. Without further ado, let me welcome Matt Fortnow and Q Harrison Terry. Hello.
Yo, what's up? What's up?
Hello.
Shout out to everybody that has the book.
Great. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
That's how we're doing it. That's how we're doing
we got
it.
it over here too.
Yeah,
there
there's a
we
blue
go.
one.
Everybody throw their books up.
All right.
I love it. I love it.
I love it. Okay. Welcome to my show. It's my pleasure for coming on the show. I'm NK Kim. Can I call you Matt and Q Harrison?
You.
How
Sure.
do I address you?
Yeah, that's
Sure?
fine.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. Now I believe you are going to give a presentation while the screen is all yours. So who's gonna give a presentation?
So I'll start off. So NFT is a type of digital art, but it's more digital art or collectible, but it's more than just that because it's integrated with blockchain technology. So the blockchain technology is the same technology behind the cryptocurrencies. And just like you can't make a copy of a Bitcoin, you can't make a copy of an NFT. So that authenticates the uniqueness of the NFT, who created the NFT, and the chain of title of the NFT. All the buyers, all the list of buyers in succession for that NFT is all available for viewing by anybody on the blockchain.
Okay, yeah, that's great. I'm gonna then let's move on to the Q&A session then. The first question is: there's a huge interest in NFTs these days. People want to be a part of it because it's a great opportunity to build one's business and to invest. People have FOMO. The fear of missing out. This is how a lot of people feel, but in reality, NFTs are quite difficult to understand for the average person. Do you think, what do you think? Does the average person need to know what NFTs are? If so, why? Is this the right time to learn about NFTs these days?
Yeah, I think that NFTs are a technology that is one super fascinating because it gives the the file that we've all been creating and interacting with for what, maybe 20, 25 years, uh, a life of its own. You now can own a file and you can use that file in a very unique and scarce manner. And because of that, there's so much potential that is yet to be unlocked and seen. And we've seen it already with digital artists. So anyone that's making art and selling that for the first time, if you made art on an iPad, you can take that and that digital masterpiece can be sold to someone, and there aren't any duplicate copies. Obviously, you can right click and save the JPEG image. And there's a lot of people out there that do that and they say they have the NFT. But the real people with the wallet and look at the blockchain and the transactions there know that those aren't the real files, because obviously there's only one owner, or however many owners you say that you can have. And when you ask, should the regular person be interested in this? Yes, because it's at its core, it's going to unlock a lot of different capabilities. If you've ever created a digital file in any means, from a Microsoft Word document to a photo on your iPhone, those files now can have value. And what that value means, that's what is yet to be explored and unlocked. For every person, there's going to be a digital domain that has some value, in the same way that like the smartphone unlocked so many financial opportunities for your average person, whether it be DoorDash, Uber, etc. NFTs are the foundation, in my mind, to do similar things with that. So it's coming, it's here.
Yeah. Right. But Matt, this is the question. People are willing to pay a fortune to buy NFTs for animated pictures of kittens and board apps. For the average person, it's very odd, because it's only a digital image file, It can be seen on a screen. We can capture it. But it's not something we can physically hold and touch. There's no feeling of ownership in the traditional sense, But now these digital images are worth millions of dollars. Why are they valued at such high prices?
Okay, so first of all, I just want to address your point about the ownership, the feeling of ownership.
Yes.
So sure, it's not like a physical painting or a statue or a actual baseball card that you can hold, but people have their NFT wallet. They have their crypto wallet where they store their NFTs, and you can go to that person's account on OpenSea and you can see all the NFTs that they own. So similar to your Facebook page and your Twitter account and your Instagram account, this is how people communicate with each other, and showing your collection of NFTs is gives you great cred and insight into somebody, and it's a way to show off as well. So for example, if you have a Bored Ape, then you and if you got in early, it just shows that you have a lot of credibility in the space. Now, the reason that they're valued so much, I get a lot of people ask a question, well, if I can just copy a digital file and email it to anybody or post it on my Facebook page, why does that have value if anybody can just copy it? Well, the thing is, the NFT itself cannot be copied. So you're creating a unique copy that no one else can have unless you transfer it or sell it to that other person. So that's where the value comes in. It's like if we look at Beeple, for example, he's been creating digital art for decades, probably never even intended to get a lot of value out of it. I mean, at one point, maybe he sold some printed out copies of his works. But when the NFT came around, people appreciated the fact that he was a pioneer in the digital art space. So almost if you think about it, like he's like the Picasso of digital art, and that's why his NFTs have immense value. You know, the collage of his 5,000 everydays, went for $69 million, which really shows you the kind of value that there is in the space.
Yeah, right. In your book, you mentioned the Beeple. The story of Beeple, it is amazing. His artworks sell for tons of millions of dollars, but it's not because, you said, it's not because of the picture of themselves. It's the story behind them. Why are stories important with NFTs?
Yeah, I mean, stories when it comes to an NFT are an integral part because people want to know what they're getting into. So if they're buying a Beeple landscape or his social commentary on society at that point in time, so you have a Beeple every day, that means something. And when he sat down at his computer and he started to work in Cinema 4D and he says, this is what I want to comment on, you're watching someone literally in real time practice, but at the same time utilize a skill set that they've developed over the past 14, 15 years in real time. And now you can own a part of that. So there's a relationship there that matters. And I think the story is ultimately the thread or the framework that holds together the community, right? So we can all come together and get behind something if the story is there. The same thing is true with the Bored Ape Yacht Club or CryptoPunks or any of the notable NFT projects that you see taking all the headlines day in and day out. So I think the story is the backbones to the community, and the community rallies behind the story. And then the NFTs, as we all can see, the prices, they start to go in all types of places.
Yeah, then you mean the people buy his effort for 14 years, his history, right?
Yes,
wow.
yes.
That is unique. That is the spirit of NFTs, right?
Right.
Yeah, right. I've been thinking about the original NFT is human being, right? You, Matt Fortner, Q Harrison, MK Kim, we are born as an NFT because it's very unique, okay? And my property, intellectual property could be my book or my lecture or something. Then we can create all the things from myself, right?
Right. Sure. Sure, you can make an NFT. I mean, it doesn't just have to be an image. NFT could also be a video, could be music, could be sound file, could be something written, could be a 3D file, it could be an item that you use in a video game, or it could be a virtual land in one of the metaverses. It could even be a domain name.
Wow.
So there are various things that can be made into NFTs.
Okay. Then let's talk about the communities. You mentioned that communities are very important and useful for NFTs. Why are communities so vital?
I think the community is super vital because it ultimately dictates the price of an NFT, right? So if you only have one item or several items that are very limited in nature and only a set number of people can have them, if you have a lot of people that want the item and the demand is high, then that sets the price and the precedent for that item pretty high. And so we've seen it time and time again when you see a collection, be released with a very low floor price. And as people ape into the collection, as they say, or get into the collection, what happens is that floor price starts to gradually raise, and it's only sustained if the community agrees that that's what the fair value is for said NFT. And, the community is super, super important here because if you don't have a community, you don't have any value with your NFTs.
Oh, that's the point. Right. So then here's the thing. Some people are very great artists, but he doesn't have any fandom. Okay, community, then there's no value to agree with him.
The best thing about a community in NFTs, if he makes one NFT, it only takes one bid to have a community. That's it. You just need one bid. And then if another person bids, you can have two people and somebody's going to get that NFT. And so you can start off with like just a couple of your friends, a couple acquaintances. You can get on the internet. There's all types of online social media platforms that you can post. And like, you know, you're in Korea, we can get on Kakao Talk and we can have, you know, a lot of fun, right? And so if you don't have any fans and you're still trying to figure out how to do an NFT, don't let that stop you. Go ahead, create create it, mint it, create the NFT, and then market it. You'll be fine.
Wow, that's interesting. We're gonna follow up people's story. Okay, it'll take a long time, maybe for 14 years. Okay, but you can get started with one person, okay, your friend, your family. Okay, that's the great thing. I'm very interested in minting NFTs, not only own, but my communities. I have a variety of communities. There are my YouTube channel with more than 1.4 million subscribers. Instagram with 230,000 followers, and Facebook with 100,000 followers. I want to create a marketing platform like Gary Vee to manage NFTs for the people in my community. And can you give people like me some pointers?
Sure. So we suggest if you want to mint, do it on one of the marketplaces, create a collection, for example, on OpenSea. Now you have a huge following, you know, particularly on YouTube, and that's amazing. But how many people in your following actually know how to access NFTs, and to how many of them do you think have a cryptocurrency wallet?
That's the problem. It is the very first market. So, people doesn't know how to make their wallet or access to the, OpenSea. Yeah, that's a problem.
Right. So actually, that's a problem, but a lot more people are getting on OpenSea and making wallets. And actually, that's one of the reasons why we wrote the book, because it's a step-by-step guide. How to create your wallet, how to fund your wallet, how to connect it to OpenSea, how to create your collection, and all the aspects that go into making and minting your NFT. So that's what we recommend. So if you could educate, part of the building the community for your NFT, if you're bringing in an outside community, what you have, part of that is to educate them about the NFTs, and that's going to create excitement and the FOMO for your NFTs, because not only are you creating something special for your fans, collectibles, but you're also educating them as well and bringing them into the future.
Matt, I established my own, I established the online university, MKYU. It is not typical university. It is a continuing education system. So I established last year, MKYU. MK, it stands for my initial name, and the Y means U, so MK and U University. And we have more than 60,000 students now. So last week, I opened NFT school at my university. So people enrolled, how many? 2,000 people enrolled. They really want to learn what NFTs, what exactly NFTs are.
No, that's exciting. Hey, we got to clap to that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there we go. MK for the win. There you go, MK.
Thank you, MK.
Wow, that's great. This is the next question. It's getting easier to use NFTs, but it's still difficult to process for most people. We mentioned that. People create an NFT wallet, people buy cryptocurrency and use an NFT platform like OpenSea. In Korea, it is maybe American people easier than Korean people, because OpenSea, NFT platform is all English, okay? That is another problem. And it's quite complicated. How long do you think it'll take before everyone can use NFTs easily? Yeah. And what are some of the main hurdles for the average person?
So the way
Yeah.
I look at it is because NFTs are so new, right? Like we're literally in year one now of NFTs. So a year ago, nobody was really talking about it except for a few nerds. And now it's not just the same nerds, it's the nerds and a few other people from many different categories. What
Mm.
the people are doing though is they're collectively looking at this world of what at which people are calling Web 3 or Web 3.0,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, Web
And
three.
they're collectively building Web3. And in that, there's going to be a lot of the friction that you experience today, whether it be with wallets or whether it be with minting or
Mm.
whether it be with
Mm.
gas. You've got a lot of people all around the world now saying, hey, let's rethink this. Let's do this differently, or let's try this, or let's put this in the background. And since when we first started writing the NFT handbook to now, we've seen tremendous changes happen in the industry. I mean, I remember when we were writing, IPFS was very little, or it was very minusculely understood across
Ah, okay.
the entire ecosystem. But now people understand
Mm.
the importance of having your metadata etched into a blockchain alongside your initial token. And so that's one example, but the fact that you even have MetaMask and you can use that on your iPhone, your browser, or Coinbase wallet, a lot of these developments are happening in real time. And when enough
Mm.
of these changes kind of happen, what's going to
Mhm.
happen is more people are going to be able to use these tools with less and less friction. Just the other day, Adobe, the company that makes Photoshop, included an integration in Photoshop that now allows you to connect your wallet and
Mm.
etch your wallet information into your Photoshop creations. And then if you really want to be gangster, you can even mint your creation in Photoshop right to a
Whoa.
marketplace. And that's
Yeah.
happening right now. So you don't even need to know all the stuff that's going on. You just need to know how to use Photoshop, right? And so like those things are happening in real time. Web3 is here. It's among us. And so to answer your question, it's only going to get easier, but the people that work on it now, they have the advantage of a first mover, meaning that they're going to be able to learn in real time and understand what some of the fallacies are, understand what some of the advantages are of doing things different ways.
Mhm.
And you're just going to be able to apply that knowledge to whatever project you decide to do, whether it's NFTs or you end up just figuring out that it makes more sense to create a platform for other people to sell their NFTs and market their NFTs.
Mhm.
There's so many needs, but you're only going to figure out what's really needed by doing. So if you get into NFTs right now, come with an open mind and know that
Mhm.
some things are going to be difficult, but most things are going to get situated in just a few years.
Yeah, yeah, right. I think the world is getting better than before. Like, that we have a very, authority, mainstreaming that we always follow up them. Like, then advertising state, the broadcasting station. We have, NBC something in America. We have NBC and KBS. That is the main broadcast station. But now we have our own broadcast station, like YouTube channel, right? Okay, we
Right.
destroyed some right to have some people own all that power. Okay, we separate our power to individually. Then I think NFTs is a revolution for the all people. Okay, we're gonna share our own right, and then we can use our own right, sell or buy directly. So I think it is really was that great, fascinating world to individual. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. So, for
Yeah.
example, like back in the day, the as an analogy, the record labels had all the power. They owned the means of production, they owned the means of distribution, and they owned the means of marketing. But the internet comes out, and technology for like Pro Tools and Logic, you can make your own music, like Billie Eilish did. Make it on your laptop. You can distribute it over the internet. You can promote it through YouTube and social media. So it really puts the power, in the creator. And this NFT does the same thing for artists. Whereas you had to paint something, and then you had to find a gallery and someone to promote your art. Now you create your art, you build a community, you put it on the marketplace,
Okay.
and you can sell your art. You don't need any expensive paints or canvases, and you don't need to find a gallery. It puts the power in the creator.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah. It's time to wrap up. Yeah, it's really fascinating to talk to you guys. The many people, they think it is really helpful to understand what, NFTs are exactly. So, Matt Footnow and Q Harrison Terry, thank you so much for your time and insight. I'm looking forward to talking to you again soon. And Q Harrison, Matt Footnow, I hope you guys coming to Korea, then have a great seminar with people.
I'll be there. Just tell me when you need me.
Okay, great.
MK,
Okay.
thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here with you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.
Good night. 오늘의 북요약본을 받고 싶으시다면 이곳을 클릭하세요.